Hello and good morning all. My name is Devinder Singh Thapa. I am Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department of Silver Oak University. Today we are here for a lecture series on a subject Engineering Thermodynamics, one of the core technical subject of Mechanical Engineering branch, which will be having around 10 to 12 lecture series, and each lecture will be comprises of 30 minutes. So let's start with the subject. Now, before going to the engineering thermodynamics subject, I want to have a general discussion on regarding your whole mechanical engineering that you will be studying in your 4-year degree. So, if I start with the pathway, so you are currently in third semester, so you are having exactly 6 semester for your degree. So, in first 2 semester you have gone through general subjects of different branches like basic civil engineering, basic electrical engineering, or mechanical itself, basic mechanical engineering subject. So those were the subjects that were fundamental building like physics, mathematics subjects. So now from third semester onwards, you will be studying core technical mechanical subjects only. So I have tried to plot a chart or a table in which I will highlight you the significance of third semester subject first, then how their application will be in fourth semester, and how it will be directly applicable to the fifth semester subjects. So third semester subjects are your basic fundamental building subjects that will be helpful in your conceptual building, and that will be applied to higher semester subjects onward. It is clear? Okay, if I say mechanical regarding mechanical branch, so if you are going for master degree after your BTech degree, then that mechanical branch will be divided into 4 specialization. First one will be your machine design branch, then you will have another specialization of thermal engineering, then production engineering, and lastly welding engineering. So in that manner, in your BTech degree itself, you will be studying subjects throughout the degree in that sequence only. Suppose if I talk about the third semester subject, you will be studying ETD subject, that is engineering thermodynamics. Then you will be studying one more subject MOS, then MSM or COM subject. So these are your subjects whose application will be there in your fourth semester. Suppose you are studying about the thermodynamics and heat here in third ETD subject, then you will be studying about the rate of heat transfer. That will be the directly the application that of heat itself. So heat term you have studied in ETD subject, then its rate of heat transfer you will study in the next semester subject. Same manner you will study fourth semester subject like fluid mechanics. Its application will be in fluid power engineering. Same manner all the subjects concept will be used in the application of thermal engineering subject, also in refrigeration and air conditioning subject, RAC subject. So this is a sort of chain that will be continued throughout your degree. In the same manner, if you are going for the study of machine design subjects, suppose you want to go for the higher studies in machine design subjects, then same manner we will have a MOS subject in third semester, then we will have a MDIT subject in fourth semester, DME, and then DOM subject and MD2 subject. Same manner, if you want to study, go for higher studies in production technology specialization. If I talk about, then the basic fundamental subject will be your MSM subject, that is material science subject. Then we have MP1 manufacturing process 1, MP2, then directly production technology, or some of the application subject like your operation research and industrial engineering. So what I am trying to suggest you, this third semester subjects will be your basic fundamental building subjects. All the terminologies, symbols or concept you will build in the third semester, that will be directly carried forward in the fourth semester, fifth semester and upcoming semesters. Clear? So without wasting time, we will start with the subject of third semester, that is your ETD, engineering thermodynamics subject. We will start now. Okay, now what is subject thermodynamics? Thermodynamics comprises of two words, thermo plus dynamics. Thermo means heat and dynamic means motion or power. In thermodynamics terms, we will say it is power. So this is the definition. It is the branch of science that deals with the quantitative relation between heat and other forms of energies. Another forms of energies can be your kinetic energy, it can be a mechanical work, it can be any power. So here we will study about the correlation or the conversion of heat into energy or energy into heat. So there will be different types of laws we will be studying in the upcoming slides. Now firstly we will try to have a basic definition regarding your thermodynamics. I already told you thermo means heat, dynamic means motion. So here basically we will study about heat and power. Motion, power, or we can say work, force, all these are interrelated terms. Like if I want to define power, it will be the rate of change of work only. And what is work? It is force into displacement. Or all these terms are correlated. So basically we will talk about heat and work in this subject and their interconversion from heat into power or heat into work. Clear? The number of applications, suppose for example, burning of coal lead to the generation of electricity. We are burning coal in our thermal power plants and then we are getting the electricity. Same manner, we are burning the fuel and then we are getting the wheel rotation so that you can ride your bike or automobile in the forward direction. Is it clear? So this thermodynamic subject will be applicable in your daily life and everywhere we will find wherever we have to generate power, we have to apply the concepts of thermodynamics. Clear? Now moving forward, their application areas are there. Large number of application areas are there, which comprises of internal combustion engine. Then we can apply thermodynamics laws in rocket science, jet engines, thermal and nuclear power plants, and all the refrigerator or ACs plants we are installing. So these are the application areas of thermodynamics. Now, before moving to these laws, we will try to cover some of the important terminologies that will be used in this whole subject. Suppose fundamental terms or like your definitions we will study first, then we will go for the studies of laws. In today's lecture, we will try to cover the basic terminologies that we will be using in the or upcoming sessions. So those terms or concepts we will try to build in today's lecture. Okay, we will start with the most fundamental term of this subject, that is thermodynamic system. Now simply a system. So what is a system? It is a specified part of the universe that is under observation. Suppose for example this is I am having any beaker or a glass in which I am putting some fluid. Then this if I want to study about this fluid, then this fluid will be my system, rest thing will be my surrounding or a boundary. So is it clear? Now surrounding, the part of the system that is known as the surrounding. The system will be a specified area and rest whole thing will be your surrounding. Suppose I'm working in a lab in a Silver Oak University, then that particular lab will be my system, then rest Ahmedabad or India or any part of the India or world will be my surrounding. Clear? Simple as that. Then that system will be separated from the surrounding by a term known as boundary. This will be your system boundary. It can be a imaginary boundary or real boundary. Clear? Okay, now the combination of system and surrounding will give you a term that is known as universe. Means if I sum the system with the surrounding, then it will be giving you the whole universe. Now in detail we will study about the system. There are three types of system: closed system, open system and isolated system. So now what are these systems we will study? Again, boundary definition is there. It can be a real or imaginary surface that will be separating the system from the surrounding. Now three types of systems are there. One will be your closed system, another one will be your open system, and then one will be your isolated system. So their difference we will analyze in terms of two parameters, that are your mass and energy. So if a system is able to transfer mass from system to the surrounding, then it will be a different system. If it is able to transfer energy from that particular system to the surrounding, then it will be one type of a system. So our parameter will be two terms, that are your mass and energy. Okay. So on that basis we are having three types of system: open system, closed system and isolated system. This isolated system we will talk in the last. Then firstly we will start with the closed system. Now what is a closed system? all your closed piston cylinder arrangements in things or machine parts that are being closed. So what do you mean by closed system? So it is a system in which we will be able to transfer the energy or heat. We will be able to transfer energy and heat from system to the surrounding, but we won't be able to transfer the what mass. So mass will not be able to transfer from system to the surrounding, and you will be able to transfer heat and work. Then those system will be known as closed system. Is it clear? So this typical piston cylinder arrangement where we are putting our fuel, and our fuel will be system. So we are not able to transfer that fuel from engine to outside. We are only burning that particular fuel, and that burning of that fuel is leading to the development of some heat and work, and that work or heat is being transferred to the rotating wheels. Is it clear? Simple by example we are trying to explain you. Now another type of system is open system. So open system means it is open to everywhere. So we will be able to transfer both the things. We will be able to transfer mass from system to the surrounding, and as well as we will be able to transfer energy or heat from system to the surrounding. Is it clear? If we are able to transfer both the things, mass and energy, then that type of system will be your open system. Clear? This is the image which is showing you the a system that is open. From one side we are entering the mass, another side we are taking out the mass. Then in the same manner we will be supplying some heat, then we are going to get some other form of energy, that is your work. Clear? So both heat and mass are being able to transfer. So that type of system will be known as open system. Generally we have a large number of open system in mechanical engineering. One of the rare type of system is your isolated system. The simplest example I can give you is your thermoflask that you are using for storing hot coffee or cold water. So in that type of system we are not able to transfer heat and energy as well as mass. So once you are putting some mass inside the system, inside that thermoflask, that will be remaining only inside the thermoflask. Means mass, once you close the system you will not be able to transfer the mass from system to the surrounding, as well as your heat will not be traveling from inside to the outside. That is where your hot coffee remains hot or your cold water will remain cold. So what are the isolated systems? Isolated system are those systems in which there is absolutely no mass transfer, absolutely no heat transfer. Is it clear? So universe is a good technical example of your isolated system. Why? Because system plus surrounding means universe. So whatever there will be some whatever be the interaction that will be inside the system or inside the universe will be only possible. So we will not be able to send any mass outside the universe or any energy outside the universe. So whatever it will be there, it will be remaining inside the universe. So that is why as a whole universe can be treated as a isolated system. Clear? Now continuing with the next term or next concept will be regarding your properties. So in simple definition, if I say what is a property, I will say sir it is a parameter that will be helpful in my study. Any parameter, like you are taking in your trigonometry, you are taking some parameter in your geometry x, y, z coordinate system. So in the same manner for study of thermodynamics we require some parameters, and that those parameters are known as properties. Like example, pressure, temperature, volume, entropy or density, anything you can say, all those are your parameters. That there are basically two types of parameter or two category in which we will classify the parameters. There are only two types of parameters are there. First one is your intensive property, or next term will be your extensive property. So what are the intensive properties? Those properties which are independent of the mass of the system. Means all those properties which are not depending on the mass of the system for their functioning, those will be your intensive properties. Example, pressure, temperature, specific volume and density. They are not going to depend on mass. Without their dependency on mass, they are able to do their job. So they are known as intensive properties. If some other properties like extensive properties, those properties which are depending on your mass, So those properties which are directly dependent on mass, those are known as your extensive properties. Example, mass itself, volume, any energy. If I write energy like half mv square, so this is your kinetic energy and it is directly depending on your mass. So I will say, sir, kinetic energy is directly proportional to mass. So it is depending on mass. So this type of property will be your extensive property. Mass itself will depend on mass. All form of energies, weight is what, mg. Again, it is depending on mass. So in this manner, we will say those properties which are depending on mass, those will be your extensive property. Those which are not depending on the mass, like pressure, temperature, uh, these properties are having no effect regarding your mass. Clear? There is just some general rules like specific volume denoted by small v. So what is this specific volume? Volume divided by mass. So there is a general rule, we will have to identify any property that is extensive property. When we divide extensive property by another extensive property, it will always become an intensive property. You try to note down uh, this rule, or you say this formula, that any extensive property when divided by extensive property will give you a intensive property. Suppose this volume is an extensive property. Again, mass is an extensive property. When we divide this thing, we are going to get the specific volume, and that will become an intensive property. Another practical example, density. What is density? Mass over volume. So mass is again an extensive property. It is again an extensive, volume is extensive property. Then we are going to get a density. So density is my intensive property. So this rule you need to remember, and it will be very helpful for you. So try to remember the rule that whenever we divide one extensive property by another extensive property, we are going to get another property that is known as intensive property. This is your generalized rule that we will be applicable everywhere. It will be applicable everywhere. So now we continue with the same term. Now another important process that is known as quasi-static process. So quasi-static process is a very slow process, consists of many equilibrium states. So this is a process which is very slow, and we call this as a reversible process. A quasi-static process is typically a reversible process. So you might have heard about these processes like reversible, irreversible process in your BME subject. So we try to correlate with that subject. So it is a very slow process. Like example, a setup is here where we have a piston cylinder arrangement. In top portion of your piston we have put some weight. So there are two ways of removing this weight. If I directly remove the whole weight at a time, then it will lead to a non-reversible process. Now what for making this a reversible process, what we have done, we will remove a layer by layer or a strip of weight one by one. Slowly I will remove 0.1 or 0.2 gram of weight. Then I will wait for some time to get the system come back to its equilibrium position. Then again I will remove some portion of 0.1 portion. So it will take long time. So whenever we are doing any process in a quasi-static manner or a very slow manner, then it will automatically lead to the process known as a reversible process. So directly we will say we will use quasi-static process means reversible process. Clear? So this is the elaboration. You can just go through the slide. So here PV diagram is given for 1 to 2 process, where slowly one by one, if you remove all the weight at a time, it's one process. If you remove slowly one by one, so that it will generate different type of pressure, and that pressure will again regain its equilibrium position. So step by step, infinitely slow process will lead to a reversible process. Clear? Now before going to the heat term or work definition, we will have some fundamental brush up temperature terms like temperature. So temperature you have already studied, like it is the degree of hotness or coolness. It is being measured in terms of in SI unit of Kelvin or degree Celsius. So it is nothing but the storage form of energy. So absolute temperature, critical temperature we have already studied, and it is being measured by the thing that is known as thermometer, instrument known as thermometer. So Once we get the temperature, then only we will be able to study about the most important term of this whole subject, that is your heat. So what is heat? How it is being calculated? It will be calculated in terms of temperature change. So that we are going to study now. Okay, so heat transfer will occur, or heat will come into existence only where there is a temperature difference. Suppose you will have two bodies which are at different temperatures. Suppose this is your hot coffee at temperature T1, then we have a surrounding at temperature T2. When heat will only flow when there is a difference in temperature, means one will be at higher temperature, one will be at lower temperature. In this case, suppose hot coffee is at 70 degree Celsius and then cold surrounding is at 20 degree, then only there is a flow of heat from system to the surrounding, means your heat will flow from hot coffee to the surrounding. So we can say heat is directly proportional to the change in temperature. Wherever there will be higher difference in temperature, there will be higher amount of heat will be supplied from system to the surrounding. So these are the number of examples how the heat is being flowed, and then we will study about conduction, convection and radiation in the upcoming semester subject of heat transfer. This is a typical example of the use of that if when you are using in which conduction, convection, radiation, everywhere we will have a transfer of heat flow. So right now, just for thermodynamic subject, just remember one thing: heat always flows from hot body to the cold body. And why it is being transferred, or why it is how it is being flowing from hot to cold body? Only because of change in temperature. One is at higher temperature and one is at low temperature. Always heat will flow from higher temperature to lower temperature. Now this is your definition of heat. We have already gone through. Now next term is will be your work. Why? Because this whole subject we will be studying about the transformation of heat into work or work into heat. So next term will be your work. Work is already we have studied in your physics that it is nothing but the displacement type of work we will study here. So displacement of body because of the application of some amount of force will lead to the term known as work. So how will you define work mathematically? So change in work will be force into dl, change in displacement. Then force you can write pressure into area, then this area into dl will become dv. So this is your PdV. So most of the time we will be using this PdV work in your thermodynamic subject. Same manner heat transfer will be can be written as mc delta T, that is C is your specific heat constant that I will be explaining you in the next slide. So these are the two general formula regarding your heat and work, and this is your specific heat. So that constant Cp and Cv that you are using in your BME subject, and that is Cv is your specific heat at constant volume, Cp is your specific heat at constant pressure, and these are mathematically calculated in this manner. This is your constant C, it will be divided by Q by M into delta T, and that will give you the specific heat, and generally its value is remaining constant. For air Cp value is 1.005, for water the Cv value is 4.18. So in this manner these are the constant, and this is the mechanism for heat flow. So these are again some of the example like how your dependency on this specific heat, like your one we are having a earthen pot and then we have a iron frying pan. So if specific heat is smaller, then it is easy to warm. Same manner if the earth pot is specific heat is high, the material is having specific heat high, then it will take more time to get it anything to be warmed. Clear? Then work, we have already studied about this pressure piston cylinder arrangement, PdV work. I will explain you work done is pressure into area, that is nothing but force into displacement. Force is being replaced by pressure into area, then it becomes PdV work. Clear? So these are the basic definition for force and work, and then we have studied about heat. Now the important is your sign convention. Without sign convention we will not be able to solve any numerical in the laws of thermodynamics. So sign convention are totally different for both heat and work. So for heat, if I say for heat, how will you write the sign convention? So if I say the heat added to the system will be always be positive and heat released by the system will always be negative. So in your number of numerical that you will be solving in your third semester exam or for this particular subject of especially first law of thermodynamics or second law, then in numerical they will directly say that heat is being added to the system is 30 kilojoule. Now for solving numerical, this 30 kilojoule is positive or negative, that will be very important. They will directly say heat added to the system is 30 kilojoule, or they will say work done by the system or work done by the turbine is 30 kilojoule. But what is 30, plus or minus? So that thing will be covered or clear only by the sign convention. So what it says, heat added to the system is always positive, heat released by the system, this is your system. Heat added to the system is always positive, heat released by the system will always be negative. This you have to remember. Same manner, if I talk about the work, then work done by the system is positive and work done on the system is negative. So this sign is totally reverse from this sign. So work done will be negative if it is being done on the system. Work done will be positive if it is done by the system. So in this manner we are classifying two types of machines or two types of devices we are having in mechanical branch or in any branch. All power producing or work producing devices will be giving you the positive work, means all your turbine, generators, practical example, all your IC engine, vehicles, all these are giving you what? They are giving you the positive work, means that is work done by the bike, work done by the machine, work done by the turbine, work done by the generator. These are your power producing devices, means those are giving you the electricity or output is there, so that those devices will be giving you the positive work. Now some other devices which are giving negative work and which work is being done on the system, those are your all if I say compressor, if I say refrigerator, AC you are using, television you are using, all those are consuming your work or consuming your power. They are directly consuming the electricity. So electricity is doing work on that system. Electricity is doing work on the television. So it is work done on the system. So that work will be your negative work. So I think I am giving you practical examples. So these signs are very important. So try to remember this sign by whatever manner you want to do. These are the reverse sign. Heat added to the system is positive. Work done on the system is negative. Heat released by the system is negative. Work done on the system is negative. I think this is might be a printing mistake, but they are exactly inverse to each other. Now coming to the next term, that is internal energy. So it is nothing but the storage form of energy that will be stored at the molecular level. How it is being stored in the molecular level means, suppose you have done some amount, you have supplied some amount of heat, some amount of work will be done, then rest energy will be stored inside the system, because we know by the energy conservation law that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Some amount of energy will be stored inside the system. It is an extensive property. We have studied about this property. What is its extensive property? This internal energy will be depending on its mass. Clear? So it depends on its mass. So kinetic energy also. Now last topic we try to cover this equilibrium. So equilibrium, till now we have studied in physics about the equilibrium with respect to mechanical systems, like what we have studied about the force equilibrium, that is summation of net force is equal to 0. In engineering mechanics we have studied about. Now for thermodynamic equilibrium, it need to cover three branches, means it need to cover three equilibrium, then only it will be a thermodynamic equilibrium. First one will be your mechanical equilibrium. When your system will be in mechanical equilibrium, when there will be no unbalanced force acting on the system. When it will be in thermal equilibrium, when there is no change in the temperature. Same manner, no chemical reaction change, then it will be chemical equilibrium. If all the three equilibriums will be added up or will be combinedly occurring, then it will lead to the equilibrium that is known as thermodynamic equilibrium. Clear? So very simple term we have already gone through. Now some of the terms we already know, by unknowingly we know that we have plotted number of PP diagrams. So quickly I will go through. What are the states? These are states are the point which are able to define you the position of where the exactly one point is 2 point is, and what is the condition that is being conditioned for 1 and 2. These are the states. Clear? Now process means this is your process from 1 to 2 you are traveling. All these are your PV diagram. You can correlate with the PV diagram. So state 1 is being defined by a point P1, T1 and V1. State 2 like P2, T2 and V2. And if the flow is from 1 to 2, then this 1 2 will become your process. We have gone through same manner path. Then we will explain you what is the cycle. Cycle means if your initial point and final points are same, means you are traveling from one point and again you are coming back to the same point, then it will be your cycle. All these are your basic terms you have studied, so I am quickly going through these terms. You also go through the PPT after the lecture. So point function and path function. So these are important terms like what is a point function. Those functions like your change in temperature that are directly depending on the initial point and final point. Initial condition or final condition T1 and minus T2, you are able to write this thing. So this will be your point function like pressure, temperature, volume, all these are your point functions. Now what is a path function? Like this PV work. If I ask you what is the work done, so sir you will say sir work done is nothing but PdV work. So if I say you follow the path A and then follow the path B, here delta T or delta P, whatever path you are following, it was always T1 minus T2. But in this case of some of the functions or parameters like work, heat, those are your path functions. Work is a typical example of path function. Another one is your heat. Only those two parameters are your right now path function you have studied. So what are path functions? They are depending on the path. So if I say what is this work done, total work done, it will be integral from 1 to 2 PdV work we have studied. So what is integration? It will be the area encircled by the path. So this will be W2. Now if I say I want to go from by following a path, so this is from B path. So a path if I go, then if I ask you what is WA, it will be what? Same cyclic integral, but area will be this one. This whole area will be now WA. So clearly you are seeing WA is not equal to WB. WA is greater than WB. So what it is suggesting you that the parameter or the property which is depending on the path followed, then those will be your path functions. So heat transfer and work transfer are path function. Rest all parameter till now you have studied will be your point function. Is this clear? So I think some of the terms are still remaining. We are in short of time. Property we have discussed, state we have discussed, cycle, closed cycle, open cycle, point function, path functions we have discussed. Now in your next lecture we will be starting with the term laws of thermodynamics, in which number of laws are there. We will study one by one those laws. Zeroth law, then we will study about first law in detail for cycle as well as process. Then in the third lecture or maybe in the fifth lecture, after covering some fundamental topics, then we will go for basic thermodynamic cycles like your Otto cycle, diesel cycle, or this one is your Brayton cycle. By very animation we will try to study these cycles step by step manner, so that the better understanding will be there. So right now I am trying to conclude the session. Time is already over. So we will meet in the next lecture where we will be continuing with the topic, where we will discuss about some basic laws. So what is your today's work? Just go through the terminologies or basic concept terms definition that we have discussed, and then come up with the next lecture so that we will be able to study about the laws of thermodynamics. And let me assure you, all those laws will be very important for your whole subject as well as for mechanical engineering. Thank you for attending the lecture. We will meet in the next lecture.